All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday morning. Who's happy to be here? Woo! Shout out to Air Force. I see an Air Force shirt over there. Who else is Air Force here? Woo! Air Force, best force. Thank you.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig McKee from WCPO, also an Air Force veteran. It's so great to be here for the honor ride once again. All in support, of course, of Easterseals, Redwood Military and Veterans Services. It's a program. Yes, a round of applause for them. It's a program dedicated to giving our veterans, many of you even, the hand up that you and they deserve, and their family members as well. So we certainly appreciate everything that they do. We're excited, of course, for today. Over the last 4 years, listen to this, this event has raised more than $700,000 to support veterans transitioning from the military. Yes. Not only transitioning from the military, but of course, the veterans in the community, their family members as well. $700,000, and we're going to continue to grow because our goal is to continue to grow this event, and we are. Right now, we have raised new total. They gave me a new script this morning even because the total had changed. Raised over $214,000. More than 150 people registered. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. Of course, I do have to go through a little list here because none of this would be possible without our sponsors. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Carol Ann and Ralph E. Hale Jr. Foundation. The distinguished service sponsor, Duke Energy. Thanks for keeping my lights on. Well, of course, I also have to pay the bill to make that happen. Silver Star sponsor, Western and Southern Financial Group. The Bronze Star sponsors, Hamilton County Veterans Service Commission, Johnstone Supply, the C.W. Zumbiel Company, and Vitus Technologies. The Purple Heart sponsors, Architecture Glass and Metal Company Incorporated, Divine Talent Management, Enterprise Mobility, Ithacon Veterans Leadership Council, Ixon Architecture Engineering Interiors, Peck Hannaford and Briggs, PNC Bank, Priority One Insulations, Quanta HCM, Republic Services, Rumpke Waste and Recycling, Scooter Media, Strategic Benefits of Cincinnati, Union Center Boulevard Merchants Association, and Wyoming, Ohio Cycling Foundation. And a big thank you to our honorary ride directors, the Wyoming, Ohio Cycling Foundation, who believed in this from the get-go. Also, our volunteer sponsor for the day, PLK Communities. Thank you. Now, some of you have really put in the legwork this year to raise the money for this event. And we can't do any of this, obviously, without those dollars. Some of you are individual riders. Some of you created groups. And I know we even have some riders, of course, not even here this morning. They slept in. Who knows why they're not here. But we got their donations, and we appreciate them going out, not only signing up and honoring a vet, getting those ribbons filled out with a veteran's name on it to honor him for the honor ride. But we have 7 teams here, the top 7 teams for how much they raised. And this number literally just changed this morning as well. There was a top 7 list, and the top 7 list got shuffled because these teams went out and did a little extra work. So the number 1 team here today, if you are on this team, raise your hand, jump up and down, get your recognition. The Salters Family for Vets, over $10,000. Team Military and Veteran Services, almost $7,500. Wyoming, Ohio Cycling Foundation, over $7,000. Team Dent with over $5,600 raised. The team that holds everything together, literally, Gorilla Glue on a ride team with over $5,500 raised. And the team Honoring Freedom with over $4,000 raised comes in number 6. Thank you so much. I swear on my end of the list I had 7 teams. Now I only have 6. Thank you, team. To work, just picking up that phone or touching base with somebody and saying, hey, you know, your family member served. How about $25 to help Easterseals and help them help give the hand up that veterans need in this community. I can't say it enough. Easterseals, Redwood, I've seen their stories firsthand. I've told their stories on WCPO in my weekly segment, Homefront, and I know the impact this organization is having in this community in the greater Cincinnati area. So thank you for those donations. Of course, every single dollar raised stays right here. That's the beauty of it. They don't ship this money off to Los Angeles. They don't ship it up to Grand Rapids. They don't ship it to New York. It stays right here to help veterans in this community. And Easterseals, of course, never turns a veteran away. Think of that. How many are veterans in the community, in the group here right now? Okay. Thank you. We as veterans know, and family members of veterans know, that if there is a roadblock at any point when a veteran is seeking help, despite our training, despite the fact that we are told, go climb that mountain, go do XYZ mission, and we can accomplish that when we're in service, for some reason, if there is an obstacle in our way when we are reaching out for help, which reaching out for help is the first obstacle, because we as veterans don't like to ask for help. If there is that obstacle in the way, we'll say, okay, I'm good. I can continue dealing with whatever situation I'm in because I'm a veteran, I'm good, I don't need the help, somebody else needs it. What Easterseals does is they drop that barrier. They are standing there with open arms to say, how can we help you? Who can we connect you to? If our organization can't help you, what phone call can I make? Sherry M's actually just emailed me this week about a veteran who needed assistance. A story you'll see here in a couple weeks on Homefront. Plug. But she emailed me. She's like, "This is a request bigger than us. Is there anything you can do?" And that's the beauty of what I think I've been able to create as well. Is I have this network between all of these different military organizations and even veterans who reach out and say, "Hey, I was at the VFW, or I was at the American Legion, or I was here, and I heard this vet needs this help," or whatever. I get those phone calls. I get those emails, and through that network, next thing you know, we're making phone calls, we make things happen. So if Easterseals can't do it, they will make sure that veteran doesn't have that roadblock in front of them, which is so, so important. And they do this regardless of the discharge status. Some organizations, a veteran walks in, and they say, "Oh, you have a dishonorable discharge? An other than discharge?" And they won't get help. Easterseals doesn't care about that. You served your country, you paid the price, and they are here to help you. So thank you very much. Now this is the 12th year that we've celebrated the Easterseals Military and Veterans Services program here in the greater Cincinnati area. And that time they have served more than 4,000 veterans. And now, if you haven't seen it, I have. I even had the construction tour with Sherry. The new Military and Veterans Services facility, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So you look at that 4,000 number, that number is going to grow incredibly because now they can help more veterans. They have more space, everything from job training, employment. They're even going to have a video game room. So some vets want to come by and just chill, play some games, hop on the computers. They're going to have all sorts of workshops, employment, et cetera, et cetera. So it's an amazing facility, and that's through this as well. I mean, there are grants, there are other sponsors that I don't want to go into the weeds, all the money that tied to it, but it's because the community comes forward and helps with things like this. Hi, Jerome. Also, this also couldn't happen without the advancement team, marketing, military and veterans teams. Big round of applause for them and any volunteers out here for putting this together every single year. Now today we do want everyone to be safe, so I do want to bring up Jim Briggs with Wyoming Ohio Cycling Foundation to give you a few safety tips before we get started with the ceremony.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. Wyoming Ohio Cycling Foundation is really excited to be part of this tremendous event for another year, and we look forward to helping out during the ride. What this group does for the veterans and the services that they've provided through the years is just phenomenal, and again, we're just really honored to be part of it. We've got a dozen guys here in jerseys that look a whole lot like this because they are like this. We will be out on the course at the various road crossings to help out with that. So look for jerseys if you need these jerseys. If you need any assistance on the ride itself. Couple of safety tips before we head out. Hopefully everybody has a helmet. Please put it on if you have it. If you don't, be careful. We'd like you to have a helmet, obviously. Check your tires before you go out. If they are soft to the push, we've got some floor pumps around here and we can take care of that. Be glad to help. So just see me or anybody with a jersey like this and we can get a floor pump to take care of your tires if they're a little on the soft side. The direction is pretty easy. We're going that way. So follow the crowd and keep riding accordingly. Please ride on the right-hand side of the trail and pass on the left. And if you would, as you approach slower traffic, there are other people obviously on the trail, not just our group. Just tell them pass on the left, on your left, so they know you're coming by. At the road crossings, as I said, we're going to have our folks out there. We should have somebody on each side of the road. We are not stopping traffic, so pay attention when you come up to the roads. We'll give you a heads up if the cars are coming or anything, let you know if it's clear, but slow down, if not stop. Again, we're not stopping traffic, so please pay attention. It's pretty fast traffic that comes through here. Basic facilities, there are toilets on the route halfway around, so this is an 8-mile loop, so at the 4-mile loop or thereabouts after one of the road crossings, there are toilets out there. There are volunteers, there's some water out there as well, if you need any of that. So I said the loop is 8 miles. How far is everybody going to ride today? You can ride all day long if you want to. That'd be a lot of miles. Take a lap, take multiple laps, as many as you want. When you're finished, we'll be here till around noon. We have snacks and things over here under the tents. Please stop by and visit before you take off. Again, we'll be here till around noon. We appreciate everybody coming out. Thanks, and enjoy the day. Have a great ride. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jim. So before we begin honoring our veterans here, I'd like to introduce Heather Rausch, who will be singing our national anthem, and we'd like to present the colors, the color guard team from the Navy Reserve Center, featuring 2 local Navy members and 3 members of the United States Marine Corps.
Mark, time, march. Color guard, hold. Left, right. Present, colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Cut. Right. Face. Forward. Mark.
You know, it's funny when you look out at some of the veterans that are in the crowd, whenever the flag comes up and there's that point where you have to stand at attention, you know, put your hand over your heart or salute or whatever. You can see those old instincts when we used to get yelled at in basic training, you know, get straight, you know, arm down to your side. You can kind of see some of that break in. Yeah, yes, sir, right there. Right there in front. You were right. You were on it, man. All right. So the tradition of the yellow ribbon goes back hundreds of years. Yellow ribbons continue, of course, to be a symbol of support for our military and our veterans. Each of the yellow ribbons we have here today has a special veteran's name. And we will read each name as a way to say thank you and give honor for their service. Now be patient with us. We have nearly 500 names here. Please know that we've made every effort to include all names, but some received after 12 p.m. yesterday may not have made the list. The reading of the names will take about 12 minutes, so please be patient. Remember the sacrifice, though, these veterans have made for all of us. Thank you for being a part of the tribute ceremony. I would like to introduce veterans from the military and veteran team: Carl Williams, Jeff Sule, Cam Kaneshiro, Doreen Dillard, Hans Tinkler, who are veterans from the Easterseals Military and Veteran Services Committee. After reading of the names, Sean Rohr and Cam will ride out. Once they are out of sight, all riders, please grab your bikes and head out onto the course and have a great morning.
Roy M. Aholt, Fred Allersmeyer, all Kroger Company veterans, all Messer Construction veterans, all veterans, Arvis Alley, Ralph Alley, Lee Arlinghouse, Kevin Armstrong, Donnell Otan, William Bailey, William H. Bailey, Edward Bacanas, Clint Baker, James Bradley Baldwin, James Lee Baldwin, Kevin Bannigan, Tom Banks, United States Marine Corps, Drew Bard, Dr. Morris Barney, Hugh Barth, Sam Bascom, John Baugh, U.S. Army Vietnam veteran, Ed Baumgartner, John F. Bayshaw, Sr., James Beaver, Lloyd Beaver, Horace Odell Beaver, Philip Beaver, Stanley Beaver, Master Sergeant John Becker, Williard Becker, Smith Beckett, Gregory Bellman Sr., Robert Bellman Sr., Gregory M. Benedict Sr., Specialist James L. Burnson, Sergeant Lawrence F. Burnson, Tom Burnson, Eric Beal, John P. Bilski, Richard Blair, Paul Blomer, Art Bachnick, Joe Bachnick, Stan Bachnick, Charles Bova, Joseph Bova, Arthur Bowers, Bill Bowling, James Boyd, Solomon Bradley, Mike Brandon, Alex Brandstutter, Norm Brinus, Jim Biggs Sr., World War II, U.S. Navy, Pacific, Lieutenant Junior Grade, Landing Craft Infantry, Captain, Charles Landenswich Brown, Ollie Brown, Dean Browning, Roy Dennis Bruce, Dale Brenneman, John Bruning, Colonel Gene William Budd, Jake Berger, Major Ed Burke, World War II veteran, Thomas Burke, Al Burkhart, Jim Butler, Ken Butler, Tom Butler, Zach Butler, Dan Byrne, Jim Byrne, Lauren Carroll, Ken Casey, Jack Casto, Larry Cordell, Michael Couch, Chris Couch, John Coyne, William Krim, Charlie Crampton, Joe Cravens, Ron Cravens, George Crawford, Harry Kroll, Lee Crone, Harold Crookham, Arnold Crowder, Justin Curtis, Don Cyrus, and Chuck Daly.
David Daniels, John A. Darpel, Luke Decker, Bruce Dell, Donald Dent, Gary Dent, Lieutenant Colonel Gary Darby, Zach DeShetler, Jeff Dewhurst, Francis Dixon, Stephen J. DeBalls, Doreen Dillard, U.S. Air Force, Fred Espina, retired Army Specialist Matthew Thomas Drake, Eugene Dreyfus, Korean War veteran, H.G. Dreyfus, World War I veteran, Purple Heart, Clyde P. Du Bois Jr., James T. Duffin, Edgar Dunn, Rex Dye, Dr. Thomas Dye House, Easterseals Redwood vets, Rob Earl, Barry Lee Earhart, William Richard Earhart, Jerome Eisel, William Eisner, Bosun for Dave Emerson, Dan Ems Jr., Dan Ems III, Greg Engler, James O. Urbas, Gerald Eskelson, Joe Esig, Albert Evans, Orrin Mike Evans, Sergeant Philip Evans, Marty Farmer, Grandpa Fay, Jerry Fellers, Paul Fernbach, Isaac Perman Franklin, Charles Freihoffer, Melvin Freeman, Marianne Fritsch, Staff Sergeant William Ryan Fritchie, killed in action, Kabul, Afghanistan, 7/27/07. Donald Fraley, Wayne Fromm, Thomas Fry, Fuller family, Leland Langford Fultoner, U.S. Army. Corporal Charles Finesti, Bob Fernier, Cecil Gaines, Ray Gallagher, Robert Gallagher, Michael Goggins, Ray Gaynor, Paul Gears, Lieutenant Colonel retired Joe Jersey, Joseph Gibbs, Bob Giles, Robert Glidewell, Bill Gloyd, James Garing, Chris Goff, Rachel Bailey Gonzalez, Nicholas V. Gonzalez, Gorilla Glue Veterans Committee, Donald Gottman, Christopher Govan, John Graff IV, Robert Grassi, United States Marine Corps, Earl G. Grathwall, Earl M. Grathwall, Stephen Grathwall, U.S. Army, Richard Green, Raymond Grote, Raymond A. Grote, Paul Grunenwald, Daniel Gilkey, Nate Gunter, John V. Hackney, Clyde Hall, Robert Hall, Raymond Wesley Harper, United States Army, Charlie Hartley, Thomas Hassan, David Hayes, Ronald Cameron Hayes, United States Marine Corps.
William J. Hearing, William L. Hearing, Specialist 5th, Jerry Heidel, Paul Heidel, Al Henline, Tara Heitzman, Sergeant William Hemsad, Bill Hickerson, William L. Hickerson, Army veteran. William Hill, Marine, World War II. Don Hilbert, Private First Class Timothy J. Hines, Jr. Elva G. Hodge. Denny Hogan, Ray Hogan, Jason Wayne Hollyfield, Dennis Michael Holmes Jr., Dean Holt, Dan Hopfensberger, Dalton E. Hoyles, Robin Claude Horn, Captain Jim Horn, First Lieutenant Robert Maxwell Howells, Signal Corps, Marvin Hubbard Sr., David Hughes, Lieutenant Colonel George Huxell, Jack Iacono, Richard W. Imhoff III, Roscoe C. Jackson, Wanda Marie Jackson, Tia Jenkins, Bob Johannigman, Cody Johnson, Oscar David Johnson, Kevin Johnson, Mark Jordan, Renetta Jordan, Mark Joseph, Victor Kaiser, Hector J. Callagayan, Cam Kaneshiro, U.S. Army, Colonel Ken Kaneshiro, United States Air Force retired, Captain Kenneth Kaneshiro, United States Navy retired, Joe Katz, Tom Kaler, Betsy Keeley, John Keaton, John Keller, Ken Kelly, Robert Kelly, Bo Kemper, Virgil R. Kendall, Robert Kierlin, R.C. Bud Kierlin, Colonel Joe Kittinger, Walter David Kittle, Anthony J. Klein, Fred Klusner, Stephen Knier, Herman Coleman, Anthony Kramer, Paul Kramer, Matthew Hughes, Larry Coons, Dan Krasinski, Jacqueline LaFleche, Michael Labe, Ryan Labe, Leland Laird, Bob Lambers, Buddy LaRosa, Philip Latimer, Matthew Lay, James Leach, Isidore Ted Levine, George Limbach, George W. Limbach Jr., Robert F. Litwin, William Alphonse Lockhorn, Donald Lockhorn, Russell Logston, Anthony Lopes, Joseph Laughlin, William Herbert Lavelle, David Lucci, Julie Micheski, Chris Macklin, Roger Main, Tyler Mansfield, Jason Marshall, Al Martin, Declan Martin.
Hoorah Marines. Joe Maxwell, Bill Mayer, Jack Mayer, Marlene Mayers, James Mayer, Chris McBride, Jeff McLosky, William McLosky, Doug McLeod, Jeremy McComb, Harry McCoy, Larry Mack McElroy, Douglas McLeod, Robert McMasters, Donald Aura McSinn, Ron Melville, Bob Messersmith, Arthur Mayer, Eva Mayer, Reed Mayer, Lane Mayers, Claude Middleton, James Middleton, Andrew James Miller, Staff Sergeant, Ian Million, the Mix Brothers, Cody Monson, Paul Mooney, Anderson Moore, C.J. Moore, Anthony Morris, Richard Mueller, Colonel Robert E. Mullen, Dallas Mullins, John Murphy, Mark Murphy, Staff Sergeant Charles A. Moose, David Nicholson, Jeffrey Key, Robert Norman, Fred Norton, Frederick Norton, Robert Noyes, Morton O'Brien, Robert O'Connor, Jeff O'Neill, Christian Osborne, Sean Osterhout, Victor Pacheco, William Palmer Sr., Pat Purnell, Papa Doc, Ron Parsons, Erlene Parton, Melvin Parton, Andrew Pulaski, Donald Peters, Robert Farrow, Victor Felipe, Specialist Emmanuel Pacer, Joshua Platt, Mario Plazer, James Pluck, Stephanie Pluck, Lawrence Postnitz, Russell Polly, James Powell, Charles Powers, and Bob Pretzinger. Robert Petzinger, Robert Prince, William Pritchard, Ty Pryor, Marine Corps Greatest General, Chesty Puller, Lieutenant General, United States Marine Corps. John Redenbach, Raker Family Veterans, Charles Albert Reed, Larry Reese, Bob Roising, Sean Rohrer, Bruce Ripley, James Ripley. Lester Roberts, Indiana National Guard, Randy Roberts, Timothy Ryan Wolf, 1st Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division, Mark Rosebach, Jeff Routson, Edward Whitey Rowland, Matthew Ryan, Jeff Sager, Joshua Sagan, Mark Sagan, and Walter Sagan.
Donald Solis Sr., Jason Solis, James M. Salters, Salters Family Veterans, Jerry Sandfoss, Harding Sanker, Roy Sargent, Robert Savage, Greg Sack, Thomas Safay, Paul Mansky, Daniel Shaw Lochter, Al Shetler, Terry Smith, Michael Zelner, Michael Snelzer Jr., Robert Schooley, Ralph Schooley, Robert Shank, Walter J. Schroeder, Peter Ziambra, Joe Scodgen, Stephen Shepard, John Shields, Robert Shippey, FCCS, United States Navy, USS Stark, Karen Seifert, Joanne Seifert, Dr. Paul E. Seifert, Dwayne Simpson, Carl J. Smith, Jeff Smoot, Marines, Kenneth Solomon, Garrett Soti Sek, Jessica Son Saw, Jeff Soule, Rod Sparks, Charles E. Spencer, Clarence Marshall Spencer Sr., United States Marine Corps, Clarence Martin Spencer Jr., United States Air Force, Tom St. Arnold, Dolores M. Stahl, Robert Stahl, Tom Steckman, Andrew Steele, John Robert Steer, Kyle Stegman, Ron Steiner, Mark Stevens, William P. Stevens, David Stevenson, John F. Stiers, Peyton Stonefield, John Sudeth Sr., Jin Yi Sun, Team Military Veteran Services, Robert Teal, Chris Thomas, Mary Thomas, Calvin R. Thompson Sr., Jay Tyson, Robert W. Yuki, Travis W. Yuki, Uncle Dude, Unknown Soldier, J.D. Vance, Mac Vance, Luis W. Vargo, Valdecca, Grubbs, Grugel, Shirley families. Tom Bowman, Edward Von Handorf, William Wallace, Michael Warman, William Waters, Leonard Watson, Jennifer Wella, Donald Wiggert, Brandy Winton, Marvin Wigger, William Wilkinson, Alexander Williams, Captain Lee E. Williams, United States Air Force, First Sergeant Carl G. Williams, United States Army, retired, Robert Williams, Sean Williamson, Daniel Wilson, Gerald Woody Wilson, Tom Wilson, United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Zach Wobbler, United States Army, 82nd Airborne Division, Grandpa Wood, Jay Wooten, Specialist Michael Worst, Charles D. Wright, John R. Wright, Ali V. Jack, Richard Zell, United States Marine Corps, Doug Zembeck, James Allen Zeff, Vietnam, Walter Allen Zeff, World War II, Leonard J. Zielinski. Thank you.
You know, there's a mixture of names in there. There are obviously organizations. There are men and women who served from the Greatest Generation to OEF, OIF, and of course those veterans who are no longer with us. If we can, please take a moment of silence here for the veterans who cannot be with us today